go.
Welcome to the October 24th meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council. At this time, roll call.
Mayor Schwager.
Here.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Councilman Kamala.
Here.
Councilman Levy.
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Here.
Councilman Talamini.
Here.
At this time, I ask everyone to stand to salute to the flag, and after we salute, remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And so I will begin with the mayor's report that I always begin with. And this is a very exciting weekend. A lot of activities. It's the weekend before Halloween, so there's a lot of activities going on in our borough. And there is a Halloween parade on Saturday, October 27th at 10 a.m. Line up at Valley Middle School. And I'm going to ask Councilman Talamini later to report. The weather's not supposed to be so good on Saturday. Is there an alternate plan?
It will be in the middle school. If,
Oh, okay.
So if weather permitting, we'll be outside. Otherwise, we'll parade around the cafeteria.
And I'm sure Councilman Talamini will tell you about it later, but it's a lot of fun. You wear costumes. There's going to be I know there's going to be games. There's going to be activities, and I know there's going to be snacks. And then on Sunday, if you haven't had enough to eat and enough activity, you could go to the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department's firehouse on Yorpo Avenue. The Ladies Auxiliary has their annual pancake breakfast on Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon, and tickets are $7 a person. And I've been to fires and watched the Ladies Auxiliary, how hard they are working while the firemen are busy fighting the fires. The Ladies Auxiliary are wonderful, and we are so lucky with our volunteers in town, and it's just a terrific fire department, and the women are just great. So come out and support and have some good pancakes on Sunday. Yesterday, Tuesday afternoon, I met with a Cub Scout Pack 49, took a tour of the municipal building, and we had questions and answers and, of course, snacks. And there was one particular boy, I know we're going to be reading about his initials. I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who I'm talking about. His initials are HB. He was part of the Cub Scout Pack, and we're going to be reading about him when he becomes an adult. I said he's either going to be governor or move up to presidency. I mean, he was terrific. But I invite all parents who are part of Scout troops, boys, girls, come to Borough Hall. I know you need it for your badges and for the awards. It's very exciting, and I love to hear the questions, and it was just a very exciting afternoon, as always. And then on November 24th, I was really excited, and I think all of us here have received it. It's an invitation to the Girl Scouts Gold Award ceremony. And since I've been mayor, I've been to many, many Eagle Scout Award ceremonies, and this time I'm really excited in November to attend the Girls Gold Award ceremony. So congratulations to the girls who received the award. At this time, as I said earlier, we're going to deviate from the agenda and move right into the baseball champion. So I have Eric Kamala, Councilman Kamala is the rec liaison. We have our coaches, we have parents, and we have the champions. And we have the leader who's going to read the names. So you tell us how you want to do this.
They'll come this way.
They'll come this way.
Do you want to do them one group at a time and take a picture of the next group?
Yeah, one group.
All right, so you're going to
We'll line
read.
them up here then, okay? Okay.
And this way, if the names are mispronounced, you can yell at him.
Absolutely. So we have 3 teams tonight, so for winning championships, great job. We're going to start with our 8U Blue and JSPL champions. First, we'll start with the coaches. Tim O'Shaughnessy.
Good job, Tim. Thank you.
Larry Seddon. Larry could have been further away.
Thank you for volunteering.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Larry. Thank you.
Mike Hurley. And Mike Pepe. Now we can announce the team. Jackson Chiappi.
Great job, bud. Here you go. Thanks, bud.
Jackson. Up here. Stand up there.
With the coaches.
Michael O'Shaughnessy. Mike, don't forget this. Cole Seddon. Good job. Chase Hurley. Matthew Pepe.
Pick with the house down.
Joseph Talamini. Peter Rocco. Dylan Dinero. Congratulations.
Okay, get your certificate.
Your certificate.
Nate Truckelar. James Advocula. And Josh Cohn.
We'll pull kids down here for a picture.
Kids, come down here.
Come
This
down,
way.
move up in front of all the coaches. There you go. Come on down.
And parents of the 8U team, if you want to take a picture real quick.
And congratulations to the parents, because without you, they couldn't go to practices and they couldn't go to their games. Right? Good job. You're gonna stay on, right? Okay. Okay, next.
Thank you.
Great job, guys. Yeah.
Right, you get that?
Yes. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh,
Hold that up, Mayor. Show everybody.
it says 2018 NJSBL first place 8U. Goes into the Danny Z building. All right.
Next, I would like to call up the 9U champions. They won the 9U Gold Summer Champions.
Wow. Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you for coaching.
Hey, but you don't get paid.
Coach Mike McMahon.
And you find the time.
We get in trouble for coaching. Coach Doug Finale. Coach Brent Goffrey. And Coach Bobby Anderson.
He coaches as if it's in Major League Baseball.
Listen, the pay is very good. They make a lot of money. They had to rake fields. Fill ditches. All right. Now we'll call up the players. Kaylin Burchell.
I'll take a picture of all the, wait, is it here?
Thank you.
Oh, look at this, and this says, here you go, 2018 NJSBL First Place 9U.
Brandon Godfrey. Right for football, love it. Justin Finale.
What's he wearing?
That's the medal from him. Justin, over here.
What's this
Congratulations.
from?
What's that medal from?
What's this from? Oh, that's the, oh, look at that. What everybody's wearing?
Andrew Finale. Gavin Anderson. Good job, Gavin. Congratulations.
Here's a protocol.
Antonio Laterra. Jordan Rakowski. Did I say it right?
Wait, we gotta, don't get it.
Franco.
No, but don't forget that.
Patrick McMahon. Ethan Gray. And Andrew Cooper.
Bring them this way.
Yeah. Everyone, come this way for pictures.
Who's gonna hold the, you'll hold it? Hold it up. Hold it up. Everybody in? One more.
Okay.
And this will also be in the Danny D building.
Yeah, they're gonna go through the house for another couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
They drink it out of the cup. Drink a Stanley Cup.
Do they want to hold on to it? Do you want to
Tim, you want to hold
on?
on for a couple more weeks? You know, do like Stanley Cup, do the rounds, or you want out of your house?
Okay. Who does it?
Thanks. All right, now the 12 units.
Oh, the Cooperstown group.
Yes, the Cooperstown group. 12U Gold won the spring championship. Head coach Brian Sandrowski couldn't make it tonight, but the rest of the staff is here. So Coach Steve Fedini.
12-year-old boys, you deserve the award.
Go away with him for a week. Coach Eric Sterling. Thank you. Coach.
No problem, I love it.
Coach Henry Police. Coach Jason Brugna. Thank you, sir. Now call the players up. Joseph Brugna. Looking good. I've seen this dressed up. Mason Samaglia. Ryan Police. Nicholas Sandrowski. Nicholas Vitelli. Brody Deers. Andrew Eckert. Owen Fadini. Jack McFall. And last but not least, Alex Paravati.
There you go. Bring it down, Steve.
Boys, bring it down for a picture.
Yeah, guys. Why don't we move down a little bit too? There we go. That's good. Right there. I'll go on the end.
I get to go next to the coaches.
All right. Jack, you better kneel down.
It's fine, it's fine. Remember, you're on television.
Good? Thank you.
Okay.
Steve, you can grab the trophy.
You're going to take this to Danny D? Now, at this time, we continue the council meeting. You are welcome to stay, but if you're going to leave, this is a good time. That's why I said I have Okay, we're going to continue.
The only thing that had fire protection was basement. No automatic fire detection systems.
So at this time, we're going to continue the meeting. If Mr. Bialy has to.
They got a crane in there.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak?
Three things. Frank Monaco, 60 Thackeray. So long I almost forgot. It's Frank Monaco, 60 Thackeray Road, Oakland.
It's so good to see you.
Nice, good to see you. I watch you on TV though.
Oh, okay.
First of all, and I'm just asking a question, I already know the answer. But
Oh,
other
you think you're an attorney in court? You ask the question, think you know the answer?
But other people are confused. I get this ballot in the mail. May I give this to Brian? He can look at it. Or you can look at it. Anyway, what happens?
What is that?
They sent this ballot, I believe it's to vote early voting. But some people down at the senior center thought that, they said if you don't fill that out, when you go to vote, they're not going to let you vote. So I said no, so I just want to get it clarified if you don't mind.
What has happened, Mr. Monaco?
If anybody doesn't know, this is our attorney, our borough attorney, Brian Chakowski.
And it says it too.
Oh, it does?
Yes. This ballot came from the New Jersey State Republican State Committee. So it's not a ballot, but it was a request to vote by mail, that if somebody believed that this was an official document and submitted it, they would get a vote by mail document. And therefore, if you got a vote by mail document, when you went to the polls, they would tell you that you were ineligible to vote at the polls because you got a vote by mail. But what would happen is that if you showed up, you would get a provisional ballot anyway, which means it's a ballot that would be counted after they reviewed the records as to what happened to assure that the individual didn't vote by mail.
Okay.
It gets even more confusing based upon the new law that came into effect that basically said if you voted in 2016 by mail, you automatically will be voting by mail in 2018. So the same procedure that I just indicated is you will receive, and I've seen them, a vote by mail ballot for 2018. And if you don't fill it out and send it in and appear at the polls, they will tell you you are ineligible to vote, but they will allow you to vote by a provisional ballot.
Just so
Well,
you
it's very
know-
confusing for a lot of
It is.
people.
And just so
It
you
is.
know, 36,000 mail-in ballots were sent out in Bergen County. And the other problem is this particular year is because of what happened with the sheriff. So if you voted by mail already, an additional ballot was sent to you to vote by mail.
Okay, well, I just wanted to clear, I knew, I've been voting 50-something years, so I knew, that something was, but a lot of other people, especially the seniors, got a little confused.
It was on the
So-
news tonight.
Huh?
That was on the news tonight.
Was it? I didn't catch it.
That's because they were all here.
Maybe John, you can go, you're the liaison, maybe you could explain to him.
Oh, I understand it.
No, I'll go down to the senior
Yeah.
building on Friday.
Be a good idea.
Yeah. No, I understand it. I just wanted to get it clarified here because next Tuesday when my wife goes to the senior center, she'll say, my husband brought it up and
Frank, all that
you
is
can
is a
still have the right
request.
to vote. Just don't fill this out.
That's, all it is a request.
Right. Yeah.
To-
Well, it got confusing, Johnny.
I know, I would be confused myself.
The
Now-
ballot is confusing. The whole ballot is confusing now, the mail-in ballots.
I'm not going to get into politics on that one. Now, next thing.
Yes.
For years now, we've been saying something about the traffic during the school hours. And it's not that it's going to increase the flow of traffic, but I've noticed, and I'm surprised nobody else said anything, and I'm not knocking the crossing guards, they got a hard enough job. But what I notice is, if you are in a car, and let's say you're coming where Walgreens is, and the light is green, and here comes a couple of kids walking, they stop the cars from going. Now, they should stop the kids and let the green light go so the traffic can go. And not only happened there, it's happened by Dogwood, I'm sorry, the light over here.
Frank, you bring up a very good point, and I'm going to talk to the police chief, because what that is doing is encouraging children to cross when they're against the light, and that's wrong, and it's also dangerous.
Well, I've observed it a couple of times, and matter of fact, I got caught into it. And I said, I can't believe how stupid people are. The traffic is going, backing up. They're almost on 208. Right? And like I say, what do? You can't tell the kid to hurry up. He'll cry. Go home to mommy and say you abused him. So,
That's a good point.
I know. All right, now, one more thing. I've been trying to help you out with this traffic for years. All right?
No, but that's a good point, and it's wrong, because like I said, children should be encouraged to only cross at the green.
Cross at the green, not in between. Thank you. And now, because it's gone rampant, and I predicted this years ago, when they said, you gotta stop for the crosswalk for the little angels and everybody else, the seniors, right? Now I got them crossing in the middle of the street, and you see that every day,
And that's illegal too.
right?
You could get a ticket for that.
I'm not the one, I'm the driver, I'm not the walker, right? I walk as less as possible these days.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But this is what we've created, and you can see it every day, and it's not only the kids on this one, it's just grown-ups too. They walk across the middle of the street, not at the crosswalk, and it becomes more and more dangerous and more accidents.
I'm going to talk to the police captain, who's the officer in charge right now, to talk to the children and talk to the superintendent of schools about going to the schools and making sure that the children know where to cross, and also about the crossing guards, because that comes under the police department.
Yeah, I would talk to the crossing guards and
Yes,
say,
I
when the light is green, let the cars go. Stop the kids. It's simple. But
Maybe
anyway,
we could also ask the police to put it up on the electronic sign as a reminder to everybody. That is
Well, you're
down
not
by
supposed to, well, if there is somebody in the crosswalk and they're crossing properly, you
You
must
gotta stop. I know
You
that.
must stop.
we all know that, I
Yes.
think.
I know.
Right? But some people stop and they see visions sometimes, I know, because I got into an accident that
I
way.
remember that, yes.
Yeah, you remember it.
Nice.
A woman saw somebody in the crosswalk, which you can't even see the crosswalk. Right? But she stops. Now, there's nobody in the crosswalk. She had visions. What do I want me to tell you? Right? Now, the next thing, the Van Allen house, the Stream house.
Yes. You missed the last meeting when we talked about it.
I probably did. What are we doing with it?
At this point, good news.
The only good news is you're telling me you're taking it down, but
We
go
can't
ahead.
use that word. What's the word we have to use?
Disassemble.
Yes.
You'll really get a clap when I see it down
Okay.
and out. And now we
I'm
can
going to
do
tell
something.
you, Frank, I'm going to tell you when it's coming.
I want to
I'm
go
gonna
watch
be
it.
there, yes.
I want to give it my blessing.
Yes.
It'll be next week.
No,
It's not going to be next week. What are you telling me? It's going to be another 10 years?
no, when the weather gets warmer.
All right, well, that's good news, okay? Because you can do a lot with that corner then, right?
Crossing. There's a
Well,
crosswalk.
everything. You can make the right-hand turn, help the traffic a little bit. That backs up Franklin Avenue and, I forgot the other street. The side street, Hiawatha, thank you.
Okay.
I only lived there for 5 years, you know. Anyway, those are the 3 issues, Mayor. I hope I contribute something,
Yes, you did.
and,
You made a good point about the crossing guards. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
well, you get caught in traffic.
I do. I know when to not go through town.
I know, but anyway, that's it. I want to thank you. And,
It's good to see you. I'm glad you're
Again, one
doing
more
well.
time, is Steve able to walk now, or?
No.
No, can I tell you the rumor I heard?
Oh, no.
Not on camera.
No? I heard she broke his leg.
Actually, what happened
You only order
was,
$50, she wouldn't break her leg for 50.
actually Steve fell when I wasn't home, but I was very lucky that one of our fine officers
Frank.
was patrolling the neighborhood and saw my husband on the ground,
Thank
who
God.
couldn't get up, and he helped him up and then called the ambulance, which I can't
Doesn't he
say
keep your
enough
cell phone on
about.
him?
No.
Tell him from now on, everybody should keep that. What do you got it for?
But I can't say enough about our volunteer first aid squad. I think they, and you're one of the members.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. They're just so
You don't have to
wonderful.
tell me, I know. So, by the way, speaking about that, it's time to donate some money to them. All right? Again! All right? Please.
Okay, anybody else
That's
wish to
it.
speak? I see, ma'am, you're getting anxious to get up.
Mame Schwartzfisher, 187 West Oakland Ave. Frank already had my question answered about the stream house. Of course, we have different opinions. I want it built back
I
to
still
where it
love you.
should
I don't
be.
care.
I don't think, my girlfriend Vipka Andresen was born in Germany. And when she came here, and I took her around, she looked at me and she says, you know what? She says, the Americans have absolutely no regard for their history. And we don't. We have absolutely no regard for it.
What is
I'll show you
that?
something. Take a look at that. You know what it is?
What is it? Do you know what it is?
Is it ticking?
It's a coin.
Wampum? It's a coin. Wampum? Looks like
It
wampum.
looks like it's a coin from 1753.
So tell us.
It's 200 years older than I am. It was the
Ah, a
first.
baby.
It was the first penny used in New York City before America was America.
Wow.
How many people have that? Not many.
I've just in this room one.
I mean, most people will look at it and say, you know what, it's a piece of copper, throw it in a scrap pile. People like me come along and say, oh my God, George Washington could have held that. It's history.
All right, it's going to be passed around, but make sure that you get it back.
Do you know what this is?
A basket or a hat?
What's that?
No, it's a basket.
I know it's
My daughter ate the lid. One of my great relatives made that out of pine needles from the area. Of course, I have Lenape blood. And that's what, we used everything.
Wow.
That is not in the best of shape. I'm kind of ashamed to show it to you. But,
And then we'll pass it down to this end.
you know, we have to start teaching our children history.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing.
And what's going to be done with the Van Allen house?
It's going to be improved. That's why we couldn't knock down the other, because then we couldn't get any money for the Van Allen house, which is a historic site.
And the stream house isn't.
There's a big question about it, and it will take too long to go into all the details again. But when you come back and visit, because I know you're leaving at some point, you'll see changes.
Well, I would like to see it rebuilt. I would like to have the kids know.
Actually,
what
they
happened.
don't want it rebuilt. We always thought, and John is a witness, and so is our borough administrator, that we thought the state required us to rebuild it as an exact replica, and they said no,
Really?
Right.
which is a change. So you're going to be seeing a lot, you're going to be hearing a lot.
But
Follow
this-
us on Facebook, we are.
This is the first time we actually had the state come up, and they took a look with us, went in and took a review of the building and saw the shape that it's in.
Yeah,
So-
it's in,
They finally did it.
it's
Okay,
in bad shape.
anything else?
November 12th, the Public Events Committee will be having their meeting, and I greatly appreciate it if
Yes,
you
we
would
got
show
your
up.
email.
Yeah.
What-
I'd like you all to show up,
I'll be
because
there.
it's going to be an important meeting.
I'll be there, man.
Aren't you on the
I'll
committee?
be there.
And
What day of the
Um,
week is that?
Wednesday?
Monday.
Monday.
And I would really
Oh,
like to...
that's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day. It's the day of the
November
12th.
12th is when our meeting is.
That's
12th.
Veterans Day. Is the building closed? But they could still meet.
They can still meet, yeah, offices are closed.
Okay.
I would like to thank Eric and Pat. They both come to our meetings, and They put up with me.
But Russell's your liaison. Russell is your liaison.
Yes, you said
Eric comes
Eric.
to the meeting.
You said Eric.
Oh, you know what? You got your signs messed up so bad.
Oh, they're
It has to do
opposite?
with the television.
Yeah.
They're opposite?
No, they
they're-
just, when
no,
you
they're
look
fine.
at it on the television,
Oh.
They're on there.
you never see
The right
who's,
person.
I mean, yours is straight.
Oh.
I mean, I know,
Communications
I'm crooked.
I know Rich, I know Pat.
Lopsided.
I know Russell, but you know, you're
Okay.
looking at the names.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope, that's it. Thank
That's
you
it?
very much.
We always look forward to seeing you. Anybody else?
Yeah, wait, I want to
Yeah, wait.
enlighten on something. See these things that she has?
Yes.
It's just history, she's right.
Yes.
My argument has always been, I'm not saying take down the Van Allen house, but if you really want the kids to learn history, a lot of that stuff should be put in the library, because that's where you get most of your kids. And they can turn around and take a look and whatnot. You don't see anybody really, unless you take them by the hand and bring them into the Van Allen house, you really don't see that many
Schools
kids.
don't.
Second graders go.
Excuse me.
Schools
is
go.
that-
I know they do,
Can I
yes.
actually get my turn? Because when he's done, I can refute that.
Right?
Just look up, just push them over.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, Mr. Frank. My turn.
Just move them over.
But I'm just giving you that idea.
I know, thank you. We always appreciate what you have to say.
Marisol Kozlowski, 19 Barnard Drive. I live up Franklin from you. So I live a little further up the road. First of all, at the crossing guards, you guys might want to put a cop up on Franklin by the Rutgers every once in a while.
Up there? Okay.
Up on that area, because I can personally attest my crossing guard has saved my children and my life twice. There's no light up there, and people come charging up that hill. And they're fantastic. The crossing guards there in that area and the crossing guards at Heights that I'm familiar with, absolutely fantastic. And
Thank you.
they actually pace themselves well. Indian Hills, morning guys, Lanu. He's learning, but he's getting better. He is getting better in the last 2 weeks. So just so you know, that area seems to be fine. As to the Stream House and the Van Allen House, it has been my great honor and pleasure for the last decade, which is hard for me to say, to have
Still
been
young.
a presenter at the Van Allen House for the Oakland Historical Society. The second graders of our town visit every year. They have, their annual trips are coming up this year. And each class comes in independently. They are there for 2 hours. And for those of you who've not been to the presentations, please come to one if you'd like. They have been there for 2 hours without a screen, with 3 or 4 of us in costume, presenting to them, interacting with them, getting them involved, and them learning history. The reason I've done this for 10 years is because they teach me as much as I teach them. Their eyes light up. It is a fantastic experience to see the lights going on. I have edited and changed the script over the years. I improv quite a bit because I'm also an actress. I've improv quite a bit, and we have a fantastic time. Invariably, we have a question and answer period at the end where I open the floor up to ask them. They refer to the Stream House now, within the last 3 years, as the haunted house. What's going on with the haunted house? Because of its dilapidated condition, okay? That doesn't make me smile or laugh. It saddens me. I mean, it saddens me to hear that the decision's already been made to disassemble the house. Like MAME, I would like to request humbly that somehow the history be honored there. I actually do have a suggestion for the history being honored there. Because one of the things that I do with the children when I try to teach them other subjects through history that they're not really aware of. For example, when they ask me about the house, I explain to them, and I will often bring them outside and show them. You have the 2 stone columns on either side of the water, okay? Those 2 stone columns are actually cold storage rooms. That the water would cool the stone would stay cold with no direct sunlight, and that's what housed the dairy products there. And in 3 simple sentences, second graders get it.
I
and are
spoke
learning
to the
science.
the Cub Scout, I don't know if you heard it earlier. I spoke to them yesterday about that. They had
Yeah.
asked me. And I said, that's really the
Yeah.
historic value.
Absolutely.
But
And
our
it's a
goal,
foundation.
but
And
our
Yeah.
goal
Mhm.
is not to just knock down a building and do nothing. And it's always been Councilman Bialy and my presentation to the state, to whoever would listen to us in the county, we'd like to make it into a museum.
That would
for
be
the children.
fabulous. And if we could somehow preserve the foundation to show them that.
Yes, definitely.
Because that's one of the things I teach them. And I say to them, look, guys, our founding fathers learned how to refrigerate and were using steam before steam was cool. And they had a 0 carbon footprint. There was no electricity necessary to cool these items. If there's a way to preserve the foundation, that
Oh,
would be
that's a
fantastic.
given. That's a
given.
given.
And so, because I was unfortunately
said.
unable
No,
to
that's
make
a
the last
given. Don't
meeting,
you
so I
don't
don't
even
know.
say anything further, that's a given.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's other things that we teach them about the houses. The other issue that I want to basically report to you, because I'm not even certain it's been reported to you at all, is that a few years ago, during one of the presentations, we had a massive rainstorm. Okay, massive rainstorm. One of these quick floods that came through, there was a hole in the side of the roof over what's called the museum room, okay, which is on the far side. There's 3 big holes there now. There might be 4, okay, over that roof. Miss Judy Gray and I, in full costume, during a presentation with second graders, were bailing as if our ship was going down. We literally had to dump water out of an antique typewriter, which we could use prior to that presentation. No longer can we, because we cannot get replacement ribbons anymore for it. They don't exist. I've tried jerry-rigging a couple of things, they don't work. The entire room was flooded. It was flooded as you walked into the room. The ceiling was bowing, the water was dripping through. It came down about 3 feet down in the middle with the water and saturation of the water above in the ceiling. And when the DPW showed up, I said to them, you guys have a much bigger problem right now. Yes, you have a hole in the roof. Please do not just slap a patch on there, because what you need to do is you need to get the water out of the ceiling and dry that area before you patch it, or we're going to get that dreaded word called mold in that roof. And I was patted on the head by them and a couple of other people that were there and said, don't worry, it's going to be taken care of. That was 2 or 3 years ago. Last year when I went in to do the presentations, I was unable to help clean the house the week before, but I walked in to do the presentation, went to my left, went in the big room, was there about an hour presenting to the kids, full steam ahead. All of a sudden, my throat closed up on me. Closed up, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, I was choking, I could not breathe. Took a couple of sips of water, I walked outside, Miss Gray took over for me, and Miss Jerry took over for me. I went back inside to my presentation. The next day I went in, I just cleaned up the room, I left, I went in the next day because I work, I had to do quick shifts. The same thing happened after about an hour in. At the end of the presentation, I said to the kids, okay, you're going to go that way with Mrs. Gray to go see the museum room, and she grabbed my arm, she said to me, we're not taking kids in the museum room, there's mold. And that's why my throat closed up, I'm allergic to mold. And I was 3 rooms away, and it was affecting me. I finished the presentations that year, but I was sick for another 2 to 3 weeks after the presentations. It was 2.5 weeks of presenting to children. I did 9 of them because now I also do Dogwood. I do all 3 schools. And this year I told Jerry, I said, please let me know that the mold is remediated. I need to know it's remediated before I can go back. I got nothing. No word, nothing. So I contacted her and I said, hey, what's going on? And then I found out from a couple of other people, no, the mold's not been remediated. The mold is still there. Okay. I told her I can't go back. And Mayor, you know I sent you a letter saying I can't go back. For health reasons, I
Instead of
cannot go
calling
back.
Jerry, why didn't you contact our borough administrator?
Because I didn't know who to contact, and
Well,
I
now
was
you know.
told,
Well, and
by
his
her,
assistant.
I was told by her, the DPW's been notified, that the people who need to be are on it. Don't worry, it's getting done. And unfortunately, I mislaid my trust.
Well, we don't know
Okay.
who said that to you,
Yeah,
but.
I'm
and
telling
I
you,
can tell you
I'm telling you,
when-
Jerry did.
When we,
Well, don't-
when we,
don't.
Yeah,
when we
exactly. I'm
saw,
telling you I
when we
mislaid
saw
my
Marisol's letter, I had a conversation with Anthony about it, and I'm just not discounting that there's mold there. I
Okay.
can tell you what he reported to me was that
Okay.
he was not aware of it. I was not
Okay.
aware of it.
And that saddens me tremendously.
And myself as well, knowing that, you know, there are projects in the pipeline to fix all that, you know, to fix the structure, to make it weather tight and eventually to do the interior. But it is a conversation I'll follow up on with DPW to see if there's any interim steps we can take
Absolutely.
regarding
So it's
that issue.
obvious whoever you told.
Was the wrong
Did not-
person.
is
And
the
I
wrong
do
person.
apologize for that, because there are many times when, as just a normal citizen every day, we don't know who to call. And in a way, I kind
Well,
of...
I don't know if you heard me earlier. Usually I say you must contact our borough administrator.
Okay.
Now I'm
Now I know.
told we're going to be contacting Mike.
Now, you can contact me. Contact me, that's fine.
So, yeah, but, you know, as a normal everyday citizen and running around and whatever, you go to the person who you know, and, you know, she's in charge of them. I thought it was taken care of. Okay. So now this year, unfortunately, is the first year I cannot do them. Okay. I'm hoping that I will get notification at some point, or at some point someone will
We'll
tell me.
follow up with our borough
And I will
administrator.
follow up with you, Richard.
Not
and
Jerry,
we will
our
do that.
borough
I will follow up
administrator.
with you directly. And I'm glad that you saw that email,
Yeah.
and that we can take care of it. Because I would love to go back. One of the other things that we do, and I must tell you the story before I relinquish the podium here.
Frank's not
Um,
coming back up.
Okay. See, we do teach them history, Frank, we do. Because I also go to Dogwood and do 5th grade Colonial Day, and they do a great program there as well. They do a lot of Oakland information. But one story I must tell you is that last year in 2017, one of the classes came in with an aide, because many of them bring aides now, and there is a quilt in the house, which I'm praying is salvaged when you guys go in and do this, because all of the textiles and that can be affected. This was created by Oakland children in 1997.
Wow.
Each square is a different child, made a typical pattern. My favorite being the Mayflower, which looks like a shift. There's another one that's the King's Crown. These are things I point to all the time. We have a very high-tech piece of oak tag chart that's broken up each square with the pattern, the child's name, the child's age in 1997, okay? And last year when we were presenting, this is the math portion of my presentations with the kids, and I say to them, oh look, Gary, who did the Mayflower, was 10 years old in 1997. How old is he now? Go, prize to the winner. And they all rush to try and figure out how old the child is. Last year was very easy.
How many councilmen figured this out already?
Yeah, he was 30. So he was 30. So last year, like 97, 17, he was 30. And I looked at the aide quickly, and she was tearing. And I looked at her, and I'm like, what's the matter? And she goes to me, Gary and the 2 girls there that are his sisters by the name, you can tell, are my kids.
Oh.
And then she told me that all 3 of her children have, in some ways, from that quilting class, in some ways are still professionally now involved in textiles, sewing,
Wow.
that industry. They're involved in it still today. And to me, that shows the kind of education that kids can get at these houses, at these sites. We really can eliminate our history. It does make me happy that you guys are keeping the foundation and plan to honor it somehow.
Oh, absolutely.
If you form a committee or if you form a group, please reach out to me. I would love to be involved. If you do fundraising, please reach out to me and let me know and to be involved, because that's something that I feel we have been negligent in doing, is fundraising.
Well, I know
And I have
the
a lot of
Oakland
ideas.
Franklin Lakes Rotary
Rotary.
Club, together
Rotary
with Mike
Club?
Rose and Chopper Russo,
Okay.
are going to be doing that.
Mayor, can I just
Yes.
ask a question? Is the older part of the house still currently leaking right now?
You got a hole in the roof? You got 4 of them.
So I guess, the question for Mr. Coons. Mr. Coons, can you send someone from the DPW and take a look at that, maybe throw a tarp on the roof and stop any further damage?
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about that, because it was my understanding that, while the roof needed work and was scheduled for Phase 2, where we were going to replace the second half of the roof, I thought there was temporary patching in place to keep water from getting in.
I mean, you drive by every day, there's holes. You can see the other side of the roof through that
Right.
structure. I mean, it is evident. I mean, if you go over there now, I'll flash a flashlight on, you can see it. You can see right through the roof to the other side. I mean,
Well, we're
there's
going to be
obviously
taking,
holes in there.
now it's going to be
If
addressed.
that's the case, we have to get a
Exactly.
piece of tarp on there before the weekend, Rich, because we're
Supposed to be getting
expecting
a nor'easter
a
coming
nor'easter
through.
on
Yeah, the storm
Saturday.
after
I'm going
storm
to
that's
talk
come
with
through.
Anthony tomorrow at my staff.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and
Thank you for bringing this up to us.
I would also appreciate if you guys could look into getting people to take care of the artifacts who are historically knowledgeable. I have a background in publishing. I cringe every time I see people holding documents that are 200 years old without gloves on. It's just simple care things. So if you need help, if you need a resource, I volunteer.
We got
myself.
your name.
All right?
One more question. Is there anything else that requires triage right now while you've
That
got
I know of. I
attention?
haven't been in the house since last November because
Okay.
I couldn't breathe. I
All
was scheduled to go back and actually sing at Christmas.
Okay.
And we had to back out of it because I was still sick.
Okay.
Eric,
So, unfortunately, I'm
and
sorry.
Councilman Cavallo,
I don't
which
know.
is going to be looking into addressing this. Is there anybody else? Did you have one more point?
No, that's okay.
Motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have minutes from the October 10th, 2018 council meeting. Is there a motion? to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
Any changes, any modifications, questions? None, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinkatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Salamini.
Yes.
Executive session from October 10th, you all have the minutes. If there's going to be any discussion, it has to be done during exec. Is there a motion to?
So moved?
Second.
On, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinkatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Salamini.
Yes.
We already did the baseball champions, and they are champions. We have a request for a bingo license, license BL 1344, from the Manitou School PTO, to be held on November 30th, 2018, bingo at OLPH Church, miscellaneous designer hamburgers for value. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll do the resolutions as a consent agenda. If you wish to pull any out, just let us know. 18-325, hire assistant to the administrator. Michael Corelli as the assistant to the administrator, effective Monday, November 19th, 2018, at an annual salary of $45,000.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, you want to pull that out?
Yeah.
Who wants to pull it out? No, so
No,
moved.
consent agenda.
Oh, consent, we want to do them all. No,
Oh, we did that already.
I thought we
Roll call.
should,
All right, roll call.
we should do it
You
separately.
can't leave
because-
though.
All right,
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
If he stops causing trouble, yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Tawani.
Yes.
Okay, the rest we'll do as a consent agenda.
Okay.
Then at the end, you can...
Congratulations, Michael.
Congratulations.
We have to sit here. Resolution 18326, authorize the grant application to NJDOT for the Seminole Avenue improvements. And you have a copy of the grant application. 18327, authorize a tax refund for overpayment, 24 Overlook, Block 802, Lot 25, to Sergi and Alec Katov, in the amount of $5,265.48. 18328 is to hire a part-time program aide at the senior center for an as-needed basis, and it will be at $17 per hour. Susan Greco for the position. 18329 to hire seasonal snowplow employees at the current rate of $31 per hour, and it is to help out Department of Public Works. It will be Brian Morrisroe and Edward Lockowitz. 18330, appoint a municipal humane law enforcement officer. In the past, it was from the NJSPCA. Now, as a result of state statute, the new law requires the county prosecutor of each county to designate an animal cruelty prosecutor and will allow such a prosecutor to investigate, etc., for animal cruelty laws. But we do need a municipal humane law enforcement officer, and our police captain, officer in charge, recommended that we appoint Officer Don Harvey as the municipal humane law enforcement officer for the Borough of Oakland. 18331 is to authorize the agreement to conduct electronic tax sales, and this is a contract with the vendor to conduct the 2018 online tax sale at a rate of $15 per listed property, not to exceed $5,800. Resolution 334, we have to appoint a police matron, and it will be Barbara Beeman, 71 Pawnee Avenue, at a rate of $25 per hour, effective October 25th, 2018. And 18335 is dedication by Ryder, an OPD active shooter program. Is there anybody wishes to pull out? If not,
Motion to approve.
Second.
any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Tawani.
Yes.
Now we have ordinances. The first one is 18 bond 774. This is an introduction. It's the capital purchase water utility. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Tawani.
Yes.
Final hearing,
November 7th.
November 7, 2018. Now we have a resolution 18332 to introduce the ordinance 18 bond 774, which follows the ordinance. There a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Net. Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Tawani.
Yes.
Then we have 18 bond 775, introduction. It's an ordinance for engineering phase for the sewer project. Sewer.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentel.
Yes.
Councilman Calamini.
Yes.
And the final hearing,
November 7th.
and then we have the resolution for the introduction of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentel.
Yes.
Councilman Calamini.
Yes.
And now that everybody's been waiting for. Final adoption of 18 Code 767, prohibit retail marijuana establishments. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does any,
Before us, we gotta remove this from the table now. It's been tabled as a result of waiting for the planning board, so it should be removed from the table first.
Motion to take it off the table.
Second.
oh, that's right, it's been tabled so many times, sorry. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentel.
Yes.
Councilman Calamini.
Yes.
What just happened was, because we were waiting for the planning board to give us their opinion about the marijuana ordinance, it kept being tabled after it was introduced. So now the vote was, and I forgot how many times we tabled it, it had to be removed from the table, so now it's an active final hearing for this ordinance. So now, is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on the marijuana ordinance?
Are we going to be able to sell it in Oakland? Is there going to be?
Is that the question? You
Yeah.
have to give your name and address again.
Main Shores Fisher, 187 West Oakland.
No.
The ordinance is designed as preemptive, not knowing exactly where the state legislation would end up. So the ordinance would prohibit all sort of marijuana activities, let's call it business activities, and that would include retail sales, manufacturing, distribution, cultivation, as defined in the ordinance. What the ordinance does not prohibit is the distribution of medical marijuana through a licensed dispensary as permitted by statute today. And if marijuana is legalized, which looks as though that will not happen this year by the current state of the legislation, that would not prohibit an individual from purchasing and using marijuana in their own home. What this ordinance prohibits is that it will not permit any business-type uses, either retail sales, manufacturing, or cultivation.
Well, I
in
was
Oakland.
thinking of medical.
Medical
You
is
were
exempt.
Except,
Medical is exempt. There is a specific statute that exists. There are presently 6 licenses that were issued by the state. There will be 6 additional licenses. If a facility can obtain a license to dispense medical marijuana in Oakland, New Jersey, that is specifically exempted from this ordinance.
Is that good for tax purposes for Oakland?
Is what good?
Will that bring in tax money?
A medical dispensary?
Yeah.
As far as I know, no. Recreational use of marijuana, if you permitted the use under the current legislation, would provide certain tax revenue to the state, and if a municipality permitted some form of marijuana business, there is a provision that they would share in that tax revenue with the municipality.
Similar to tobacco and alcohol?
I can't say if it's similar to tobacco and alcohol, but specifically for marijuana, they will share.
Thank you.
anybody else wish to speak on marijuana? You spoke at the planning, you don't want to speak?
I've said everything I need to say.
But that was at the planning board. Not everybody here heard. Do you want to say? No?
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so here is the ordinance. Do you want to read the ordinance?
I'll read the title.
You want to read the 2 paragraphs?
I'll read it. This is an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Borough of Oakland, Chapter 59, Article 7, Section 59-45, entitled Regulations Applicable to All Zones by adding Section J. Section 5945, General Use Restrictions J. The operation of retail marijuana establishments, which includes retail marijuana stores, retail marijuana cultivation facilities, retail marijuana products, manufacturing facilities, and retail marijuana testing facilities, and the operation of retail marijuana social clubs are prohibited within the Borough of Oakland, and therefore all activities related to the above-mentioned retail uses such as but not limited to cultivation, possession, extraction, manufacturing, processing, storing, laboratory testing, labeling, transporting, delivering, dispensing, transferring, and distributing are expressly prohibited within the Borough of Oakland. Medical use of marijuana. This ordinance shall not be construed to limit any privileges or rights of any qualifying patient, primary caregiver, registered or otherwise, or registered dispensary pursuant to the New Jersey Compassionate Use Medical Marijuana Act, NJSA 24:61-1. Those are the salient provisions.
And with that, I'll entertain the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Okay. Work session items. Amend ordinance accessory structures. We had discussed this at length at the planning board. It has to do with the pods. You've all seen the pods and the metal boxes that sit in one's driveway.
You want me to jump on this one? Because it's relatively straightforward.
Go right ahead.
We have an ordinance that regulates
Using
the
my voice, so go ahead.
use of pods that was adopted in 2011. That ordinance is not affected by the recommendation of the planning board. The planning board, I guess it was brought to the planning board attention that these pods are utilized in a somewhat permanent fashion as a permanent structure. So what the planning board has requested, that a pod specifically be identified as not, and shall not be, I'll read the exact language. An accessory structure shall not be construed to include a pod as defined, and it references the ordinance. So what you do is you regulate the use of pods pursuant to the 2011 ordinance, and the intention of this ordinance is to clarify that the permanent use of pods is not an accessory structure.
And you've all seen in driveways of people's houses,
So,
these
so
big pods.
what do you
now
mean
we're
that's
open-
not
now
an
we're-
accessory
wait,
structure?
Now we're open for discussion.
What that means is people are using pods in a permanent and not temporary nature and alleging that it is an accessory structure under Oakland's ordinance. This clarifies that it is not an accessory structure and is
Okay.
not intended to be an accessory structure, and it's regulated pursuant to the 2011 ordinance,
I see.
which
Okay.
provides for a 12-month period pursuant to a license issued.
Mayor?
Yes,
Just
please.
for a question for the attorney, so this means this strictly means that we are tightening the ordinance at this point, and adding more specificity, correct?
You are now tightening your zoning ordinance to specifically indicate that a pod is temporary and not to be considered a permanent accessory structure.
Because too many people have left those pods in their driveways.
I thought it meant the opposite. I
It's
thought it
really
meant-
any kind of storage structure like that.
Right.
It's pod and brand.
But the pod is the brand, right? It's like when you say Band-Aid or bandage. That's the analogy. Any other comments? So do you want to have this on the agenda
Yes.
next time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The next item is amend salary ordinance.
Yeah, Mayor, very quickly, you've acted to hire Vincent Dias as our information technology technician. His first day of work is tomorrow. So the ordinance that you have for consideration is just to add that title to the salary ordinance and establish a range for it. That's pretty straightforward.
So this means when there were problems with the computers and everything, it's no longer patrolman doc, it's no longer officer doc.
Yeah, the employee's primary responsibility will be taking over in large measure the IT and TAC functions for the police department, and also handling other select IT and technology related work for the borough overall.
Any questions? Any comments? None? Then we'll move on to old business. Does anybody have any old business?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
Just follow up from Mr. Coons and our borough engineer, just an update on the bridge first. For our borough engineer, where we stand with that?
It's still at the New Jersey Department of Transportation being reviewed. We are expecting comments back in second week of November.
Okay.
And then once we receive them, we'll revise the plans and
And we will keep the residents of Rampo River Reserve informed.
Is it still possible if it could be out for RFP by the end of the year, or is this delaying it even more?
We will, about the end of the year with the holidays, it's difficult that period of time, so it might spill into January.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I am still getting a lot of phone calls, emails, and texts about the roads in the reserve that have been repaved. Can you please give us a status report?
Yes, Mayor. Tomorrow, I believe, is the last day, what's today, Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. I believe the paving was finished today or tomorrow.
I think tomorrow.
So I haven't checked with my inspector on the status before I came into this mayor and council meeting. I apologize. But we're looking to finish the paving tomorrow. I asked about incidents earlier today. My understanding is that we have not received a large amount of complaints.
I got them.
I haven't, they haven't come this way, so pass them on and we'll do
Well-
whatever we can
Or
tomorrow.
contact Mike.
Mike.
Not yet, not yet. Don't
Is he
overwhelm.
going to have his own private phone with his own private extension?
I can arrange that.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question, Mayor,
Yes.
for John.
John.
Yes, sir.
Yes, John.
John, no, John, the engineer.
No, the
Several
engineer.
Johns.
I know, we have
Yeah,
to
I'm sorry.
clarify this, please.
I'm sorry. Yes. John, the Boswell representative. If you remember, several weeks ago, a lady came here complaining about a tree that was on state property.
Yes,
Well, it was never taken care of, and she paid to have it removed.
that is correct.
Is there any way that the state, can she send the bill to the state for reimbursement?
Certainly, we could try that.
Yeah?
Anybody could send the bill to
Do you
the
want to
state.
contact her, or do you want me to contact her with the address?
I could reach back out to her, and as a matter of fact, I was in touch with the DOT today on other issues in the borough.
Yeah, and maybe you can give her, and when you do that, or she does it, the names of the people you spoke to that they said they were going to take care of it, which they never did.
I will do that.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to compliment John John Yakimic.
Wise.
John from Boswell. He is very responsive. I mean, when we have a problem, John, not John Bialy, but the other John.
Well, John Bianco.
I'm only teasing you.
Thank you.
But I thank you for what you do for
My
Boswell.
pleasure, thank you.
Mayor,
So I will reassure her tomorrow when I go to ShopRite.
Yes.
You're going to get in touch with her.
Yes.
Mayor, I still have two more.
Every time I go, she collars me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think you
Yep,
finished.
no, I have two more items for Borough Administrator. Mr. Coons, could you give us an update on the bathrooms at the rec field and where we stand with the Roosevelt houses?
Sure. Bathrooms at the rec field, I sent comments back on the final specs to the architect, waiting for his revisions, and we'll be ready to go out to bid. Almost in the same spot with the homes on Roosevelt. I met last week with John and Dan Hagberg to get their comments on the scope and any particular provisions that they needed, so that's in the final drafting stages as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the bathrooms. I guess because it's cold and...
Well, we're hoping to, as per Borough Administrator, hopefully get the RFP out in the street and get the bathrooms done during the winter time, so that when spring comes, they got brand new bathrooms for the rec field.
Excellent. All right, any new business? Council committee reports. I'm going to save Councilman Talamini for last because of the Halloween, so you're going to be last, because that's the most important right now. So we'll start, not that you're not important, but we'll start with Councilman Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor.
So I can't see you.
That's okay.
That's because we have to move the desk out. Every chance I get, I say that.
So I'll start with Great Oak Park. Last meeting I mentioned we were looking for a landscape company to help us remove some debris from the trees that were taken down and to kind of skim coat the property in preparation for seed. And I know you're all going to be amazed by this, but James Construction stepped up and they're doing it all gratis for us. And we are going to repurpose what they scrape up in the trees. We're going to grind it into mulch and use it in other areas in the park and in other areas throughout the borough as needed. So amazing people, that Potash family. Now to public safety, we'll go first aid squad first. For the month of September, they ran 70 calls for 140 hours. Year-to-date, 698 calls for a total 1,396 hours. They did one training event in September for 4 hours total and 8 throughout the year for 20 hours. Their on-duty hours are 1,275 for the month and 12,750 hours year-to-date. So that's 12,750 hours that the volunteers, such as Pat and the others, basically can't leave town, can't do really too much, and they have to be, I was leaving the alcohol out of this, but can't drink.
Or smoke.
To be prepared to take an emergency call, so that's a significant amount of time. Fire department, for the month of September, they ran 39 calls, totaling 445 hours, 341 for the year, totaling 6,850 hours. They had 2 training events in September for 6 hours total, 23 for the year for 69 hours, 12 standbys for 1,352 hours. So another 7,000 hours on top of the 12,000 that the first aid squad ran. So 20,000 hours so far donated to the borough by the volunteer emergency guys and girls and Pat. Also, the fire department had 3 firefighters graduate the fire academy in September.
Oh, so will we be swearing them in soon?
No, you already did.
Oh.
You swear them in, then we send them to the academy.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
We don't swear them in again?
No.
Okay.
No, they don't want to do it again. Police, year-to-date, 15,153 calls. Month of September, 300 motor vehicles stops, 70 ambulance requests, 66 school checks, 46 burglar alarms, 29 motor vehicle crashes, which, I don't know, we seem to have a
Make
lot
it
of
30,
crashes.
there was one on the way over.
All right.
Oh, no.
That'll be on October's report.
Right by 287.
39 fire calls, 23 traffic enforcement details, and 22 radar details. I also want to point out that they did 4 child safety seat installations, so those of you that have newer children and need to know how, proper way to put a... Well, versus older children. Who do you put in the car seat? A new kid?
I have an old child.
Listen, I got a 3.5-month puppy. That's as far as it goes.
They go up to 12 now in the car seat.
See that?
Yeah.
12. So the point is, the police will instruct you on how to properly install it in your vehicle.
The kid or the seat?
Both. The new kid in the new car seat. Training for the month, Patrolman Jonathan Coleman successfully graduated from arrest, search, and seizure update. He also was certified as a FTO, which is field training officer. What that does is he will train new police officers that come out of the academy. Sergeant Stephen Brock also went to FTO training school and passed. Lieutenant Tim Keenan took a leadership program for middle management. And that is the end of my report. Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget the school walkthroughs. I said them, 66.
66.
Oh, yeah, sorry. 66, school walkthroughs. Okay. All right, thank you.
Do you want, what Frank Monaco suggested, I'm going to speak with Captain about the crossing guards, instructing the children to cross only when it's green and not stop the traffic, to have them cross if they're against the light, because I think that's important.
Okay.
And we'll get a report on that. Maybe we're wrong, I don't know. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Knapp. The Flood Commission did not meet, members were not available, so we did not have a quorum. I will once again remind everybody that we will be looking for 2 new members come January 1st, so if anybody has an interest in getting involved, helping with the Flood Commission, it does a lot of work on the river. It was involved in getting residents 15% discount on flood insurance through our community CRS program.
And that's an annual program, so that gets updated every year to try and continue to get discounts for residents. Help with flooding issues, help with the general health of the river. Shade Tree Commission, we are currently discussing an arborist to work for the borough on a per diem or as-need basis to help with permits and to help fine-tune our shade tree ordinances. And because Councilman Knapp has not thrown a paperclip at me, I guess that's it.
Councilman Pignatelli.
I have no report this evening.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, at the last Board of Health meeting, I was ill, so I was
Oh.
not able to attend the meeting.
Get away from me.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes, thank you,
He'll make
Mayor.
up for it.
Senior report, Thursday, November 1st, will be a musical afternoon at the Senior Center. The Wildcats Doo-Wop Group will be performing and refreshments will be served, and that's at 1 p.m. On Thursday, November 15th, there'll be bingo on the agenda, and that also will be at 1 p.m. On Thursday, November 29th, will be movie day, and that will also be at 1 p.m. And the movie doesn't say.
Anybody
Anyway,
know what the movie is, or is it a surprise?
Animal House.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Up in smoke.
I could tell you,
The African
probably.
Queen.
Up in smoke by Chief and John.
No, movie day is Mamma Mia.
Oh, a musical.
Okay? And, okay, DPW report. The Water Department has completed its annual fire hydrant flushing program. All of the borough's 570 hydrants were flushed, inspected, and pressure tested. And as a result, 14 hydrants were replaced and another 10 were repaired. Of the hydrants replaced, 2 were originally installed in the 1930s. So we got a money's worth out of those hydrants.
I could say that's before I was born.
Yeah, I don't know, I thought you said you remember them being put in.
Whoa.
No hobble
Two,
play.
the Block Environmental Associates is doing an outstanding job keeping our 3 wastewater treatment plants compliant and fully functional. They recently made necessary improvements to 2 pump stations, a series of sand filters, an equalization tank, and 3 disinfection systems. These inexpensive improvements will continue to keep our systems NGDEP compliant until all 3 treatment plants are decommissioned during the sewer project. And now that we are at the beginning of the fall leaf season, we want to remind all our residents that the leaves and yard waste must be placed in either biodegradable bags or garbage containers. Leaves piled on the curb or placed in plastic bags will not be picked up by our hauler. Also, we ask all residents to help prevent ponding of water on the roadways by removing leaves from the storm drains before a rain event. In case there's a storm drain on your property, just take a rake and pull the leaves aside from it and get them out of the way. Ponding creates dangerous road conditions for motorists, and we can easily prevent this from occurring by keeping the grading on the storm drains clear. The Environmental Commission volunteers, along with the help of our recycling coordinator, Eugene McMahon, have made Earth Machine backyard compost bins available for our residents. Residents can purchase their own composting bin at the DPW building located at 63 Oak Street. The bins are $60 each, and 13 units have been sold to residents since the program began on October 4th. More information on backyard compost bins is available on the Oakland website. And lastly, a DPW subcommittee meeting location list for next year's complement of LED street lights was compiled by Captain Sanzari with the help of the vigilant eyes of the Oakland Police Force. Most of these locations will be at dimly lit intersections throughout the borough, and Rich and myself and the mayor have been meeting with vendors for bulletin boards, and we're looking at giving our DPW a break from going out and replacing the letters on the manual bulletin board with an electronic one that can be operated from Borough Hall. So we're looking at the different aspects of how this how it would fit perfectly in our town and give all the residents a good bird's eye view of all the goings-on in Oakland on a consistent basis. That's my report.
Thank you. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. OCC Communications Commission is still looking for new TV committee volunteers. If you're interested, fill out a volunteer interest form on the OCC website. Also, they're looking for high-quality photographs and videos so that they can utilize it for the new station IDs. So if you have anything that's, pictures such as public events or something seasons, nature, historical buildings or major landmarks, certainly send them into the OCC so they can utilize that. For the rec, I just want to say that we now have lightning detection that's working at both, we just added Truman Field and also Wells Field. So the lightning detection is working at all 3 facilities in Oakland. And also, if you recall, about a month or so, I reported on the fact that some of the walking trails behind Truman Field had some real widowmaker trees that were hanging in the back. I'm happy to report that Mr. Coons and the DPW have indeed taken care of those. And now it is a safe place to walk as you're working your way down to the river. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Before Councilman Salamini, what kind of photos do you want?
They're looking for high-quality photos, high resolution, looking for seasonal pictures, nature shots, historical buildings.
For what?
This is for the Oakland Public Access Channel. What they're doing is they're building out so they can put in between the programs that they're running, they want to put these pictures up on public access for FiOS and cable TV.
Okay. Now, when we had the Library Growth Foundation, one of the fundraisers we had was selling postcards with pictures of Oakland. I have the postcards. I wonder if Ronnie Levine has, you don't want the postcard itself.
No, we want people to take pictures with their digital camera and send us current pictures of
But
the
Ronnie
town.
Levine may have the digital that was put onto the postcards.
Okay.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yes, get them to me or Ryan, and we'll take a look at them, and if they're usable, we'll put them up.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Excuse me, Eric, would you like some high-resolution flyovers of the Ramapo River?
Submit them, absolutely.
I
Because
think
we're
we
looking
had
for.
them, they did a test flyover with the drone.
No, probably has Kevin
And those are very high.
Yes, if you have drone videos, certainly that'll be very interesting videos for the town to see, so yes, Councilman,
Okay,
if you can submit those, that'd be terrific.
Okay, thank you. Now, public events.
Public events, we will be having the Halloween
Name
parade.
Councilman Talamini.
We will be having the Halloween parade.
He is a sweetheart.
This weekend at 9:50, rain or shine, at Valley Middle School. It's a great event. You get to see all the kids in their costumes. I might even put a costume on. We'll see what's going on. And we'll have pumpkins and crafts for the kids, and there'll be some food, and I guess if the weather holds out, we'll have the blow-up hay maze and
Nice.
and some more outdoor activities. But so let's hope for nice weather, and then please, if you can spare some time, come and volunteer for the public events. We always need members. It's a great bunch of people. We have a lot of fun. Mame's on it, and Pat's on it, and it's a good committee. And then the schools, there's a half day on Halloween this year, so just remember there's a half day, and please remember Halloween. Just be careful when you're out in the streets. Just drive slow. Be aware kids have masks on. They're going to be running out in the middle of the street, crossing where they're not supposed to be. Just pay attention. We want it to be a fun day. No accidents. And then also, nobody mentioned how nice the library event was. It was really done well. It was nice. We had a couple proclamations. We learned a little bit about the library. We got to honor the Levines. And,
There's a plaque for them.
A plaque for them.
And a room is named for them.
And the room is named for them. And it was really a nice event. It was a nice town event. It was something that we could be proud of. The library looks great.
I would recommend everybody, if you don't want to use the library, just take a walk around the library and look at the rooms downstairs, that if you have an organization, you want to have a meeting, it's a perfect place. And because, I don't know, you could go out into the back of the library, which goes into Veterans Park, and now that the wall is removed, It will be a nice patio, and then you'll be able to walk into Veterans Park. It's really, it turned out great. But I do want to say something before we open to the public again. I'm getting a lot of calls still, a lot of texts, and a lot of emails. Route 202 will be repaved. What happened was, they had to wait until the pavement settled, which brought us into the month of November. So, with John from Boswell Engineering, and myself, and the police, and members of PSE&G, and representatives from the county, we met to talk about when would be the right time to pave in November. And we looked through the calendar while we were standing there, and we came up with the week of Election Day, that Thursday and Friday of that week is teacher conferences. Schools are closed. And because Tuesday's Election Day, schools are closed, then you have Thursday and Friday, schools are closed. A lot of people go away. They take their kids out of school for Wednesday. It's a time when there's less traffic on 202, and we wanted to do the repaving when schools are closed. So repaving will occur on the week of Election Day, but it's not Election Day. It'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday possibly when schools are closed. And we thought that would be the right time to do it. With that, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? You can speak
Jane
again.
Schwartzfisher, 187 West Oakland Ave. Nothing to take away from Ronnie Levine, because she's done a lot of work for the library, but Jerry Schreier went way above and beyond for the children's department, and her name is nowhere in that library. And her name should be put right over the entrance to that children's department.
You're right, she's deceased, unfortunately.
No one has worked harder for that library than Jerry Schreier.
That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
And, I mean, I know everybody, so when I have a problem...
You go right to the source.
Rich, help me with this. Rich, help me with that.
So now everybody else knows, go to Richard Kearns, our borough administrator.
And he's always there. He's always giving me information. And if Lisa ever quits,
No, we're not letting
just
her.
give it up
Don't
and go
worry,
away.
we're not letting her, don't worry.
Thank you.
She's here. Anyone else?
Mayor, can I say something? Oh, go ahead.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Marisol Kozlowski, 19 Warner Drive. The Halloween trick-or-treating, we have a half day at school, and there's been some sort of notifications going out from the schools that streets are closing in the college section in order to
This was,
facilitate trick-or-treating.
and I did get a letter from a resident in your
Yes.
area. What happened was the traffic safety officer is the one who recommended, and I was there last year and I saw it. They closed off certain streets against no vehicles, and all the kids walk with their parents. And yes, it is a mob scene of kids.
Well, it's the section of town I'm in, so, and it was well done, and it was nice, but my concern is that the notification that I saw said that because they're not allowing through traffic to park in 2 locations, one of them is Heights School, which you gotta be through traffic to get there, and the other one was OLPH.
But there are some streets you could park on.
And, well, that, since they're closing the streets to the...
Yeah, but there's some other street, you could park on the other streets, you won't get a ticket.
Well, my concern is that the notification directs people to park in OLPH, and I saw another notification come out today that the rain date for for OLPH is Trick or Trunk is the 31st.
Wow.
So my concern is if you're directing people to that parking lot, and that parking lot's gonna have a Trick or Trunk, I'm just letting you know
Richard,
different things
are
I've
you
seen
meeting
today.
with the captain tomorrow?
So,
Richard will take
I'm not sure
care of it.
With the half a day of school, I'm not sure if trick-or-treaters will start at 2.
Marisol, not to worry, Richard's gonna take care of it.
Richard's gonna take care of it. I just am notifying you guys that I've seen
You know they
conflicting
have 2
information
levels, right?
on a parking lot.
You know they have 2 levels.
I do.
Yeah, so.
I live across the street.
It could be that they're going to have the parade up, trick or trunk up top, and then people could park on the bottom. It's pretty big on the bottom.
Oh, I'm just letting you know that there might be some confusing and some congestion and whatever at that location. So, because I've seen conflicting things, and as a parent who lives there, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm walking, I'm not parking anywhere.
Okay, good. And hopefully it's good weather.
Oh, pray, I want it to be nice Saturday.
Mayor, one point.
Maybe the rain will hold off till late. Yes.
One point, I just want to bring up a point. We're entering the season when it's getting darker earlier, and November 4th, I believe, we're pushing our clocks, so we're going to lose another hour. And traffic is heavy at 5 o'clock, and it's going to be dark in a couple of weeks. And I'm speaking with the captain of our police department at our DPW sub-meeting. We're noticing a lot of people walking in the evening, and they're not taking advice of a long-time safety standard. When you walk the streets, wear something bright or light instead of walking with dark clothes on.
I know.
Because if I pass people, and I don't see them until I'm passing them, and they're walking in the street. And it will only take a little bit of a maneuver in your car, and you'll hit somebody. So if you're walking your dog at night, or just walking, taking a walk, make sure you put something bright on, so lights, when headlights hit you, it'll reflect back. If you're wearing dark clothes, there's no reflection, and you become part of the dark atmosphere out there. So I just a heads up to all our residents.
But we're still open to the public.
Carol Peterson, 95 Seminole Avenue. I just want to take a quick moment to give an update on Sustainable Oakland's Green Team.
And congratulations.
They had just certified for bronze in this past cycle. And I also want to thank all of the residents who came out and drove as for our styrofoam drive. They had gone to Glen Rock and then as far as Leonia. Some residents actually turned around and filled up their cars from all of their neighbors,
Wow.
which was amazing. We have been approved for the Bergen County Hub Grant. So we will be offering programs in town. We are looking to do one right after the holiday season.
Excellent, thank you so much.
And we'll have tremendous programs we're going to be rolling out this next year.
And thank you for all your hard work.
Yes. Absolutely.
Very much appreciated. Thank you. And congratulations
I do have to
again
say,
on the
though, honestly,
recertification.
I can only take a small portion of the credit. It's a team. There's 10 people. They're extremely involved. They're extremely hard workers. Thank you. Because Rich is also, Mr. Coons is
He
also
comes.
a member of the team. And thank you for everything that you do.
And don't you have junior members?
We do. We have 3. I'm not sure if you have the 3rd application yet. But there's more coming.
Good. That's what we want, to start with the children. Be careful. Okay,
Motion to close.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Bills to be paid, $170,996.33. So moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentelli.
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting will be held on Wednesday, November 7th. See you then. And don't forget, change your clocks, November 4th.
Fourth, I believe.
It's a
it is.
Saturday night, fallback.
You got the blue can?